Donald Trump stormed back into office with a familiar, fiery promise. He vowed to finally demolish the deep state. His supporters, energized by this pledge, expected swift, decisive action. They anticipated a reckoning for the shadowy figures they believed manipulated government from within. The air was thick with anticipation for dramatic revelations and high-profile arrests. This was not just a policy point, it was a crusade, a core tenet of his 2024 campaign, designed to liberate the country from perceived tyrants and villains. The clock started ticking the moment he retook the oath, and his base watched and waited, with bated breath, for the promised purge to begin. 4 months into this hypothetical second term, around late May 2025, a palpable sense of restlessness has begun to permeate his core constituency. The expected hordes of deep state operatives have not been paraded before the cameras in handcuffs. The Justice Department, now under Attorney General Pam Bondi, has not delivered the sweeping arrests many had envisioned. Instead, there's a growing murmur of discontent, a feeling that the administration isn't moving fast enough, or perhaps isn't finding what it so confidently claimed was there. The grand narrative of a swift takedown is colliding with a more complex and to some frustrating reality. The promise to dismantle this alleged secret network was a powerful motivator. It fueled rallies and dominated online discussions. Supporters imagined a scenario where the levers of power would be wrested from these unseen hands. They looked forward to the unmasking of those who supposedly pulled the strings behind major political events and decisions. Now, the initial fervor is giving way to questions. Where is the irrefutable evidence? When will the promised retribution begin? This impatience is becoming a significant pressure point for the Trump administration, a challenge to its credibility with its most ardent followers. This growing unease is not confined to hushed whispers. It is bubbling up in public forums and social media, the very platforms that helped amplify Trump's message in the first place. Conservative commentators and influencers who once championed the deep state narrative with uncritical zeal are now beginning to voice their own frustrations and doubts. They reflect the sentiment of a base that feels the administration is lagging, failing to deliver on one of its most central and emotionally charged commitments. The demand for tangible results, for the curtain to be pulled back, is louder than ever. In an attempt to demonstrate progress, the Trump administration has taken several publicized actions. One notable move was the declassification of over 63,000 pages of records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This was framed as a bold step towards transparency, a peeling back of layers of government secrecy. The sheer volume of documents released was intended to signal a commitment to exposing hidden truths. However, for many who have long subscribed to intricate conspiracy theories surrounding the event, this deluge of information has felt somewhat hollow, lacking the definitive bombshells they had hoped for. Beyond historical declassifications, the administration has also targeted contemporary perceived enemies. Federal workers have been fired, a move consistent with Trump's rhetoric about rogue bureaucrats undermining his agenda. Executive orders have been issued targeting law firms deemed unfavorable. Security clearances have been revoked for political rivals and former government employees who have voiced dissent. Furthermore, prosecutors who previously investigated Trump have found themselves dismissed, and career FBI agents involved in probes like the January 6th Capitol attack investigation have faced intense scrutiny. These actions are presented as decisive blows against the entrenched establishment. Despite these measures, the administration has struggled to provide concrete proof of the egregious crimes Trump alleges have corrupted the federal government. The firings and revocations, while impactful for the individuals concerned, have not yet unraveled a vast, coordinated conspiracy in the eyes of the public, or even many of his supporters. Many of these promised purges, including the plan to reissue a 2020 executive order to easily fire federal workers, are becoming entangled in predictable legal battles. The cogs of government and the courts move slowly, much to the chagrin of a base eager for rapid, transformative change. The appointment of Elon Musk to lead a new Department of Government Efficiency was another initiative aimed at shaking up the status quo. The goal was to aggressively cut federal spending and streamline bureaucracy. However, early results from DOGE have been underwhelming. Some high-profile cancellations of federal contracts have been reversed due to existing legal requirements and contractual obligations. the promise of a leaner, more responsive government free from the clutches of the deep state remains largely aspirational, with the federal deficit even projected to potentially increase significantly over the next decade under current policies. The administration's narrative and actions are increasingly meeting with skepticism, not just from critics, but from within its own sphere of influence. Conservative commentators, who often amplify Trump's messages, are now publicly questioning the official lines. Tucker Carlson, for instance, has openly wondered why alleged videos related to Jeffrey Epstein remain secret despite official pronouncements. Todd Starnes, another voice on the right, has expressed confusion regarding the Department of Justice's stance on sensitive issues, reflecting a broader sentiment of dissatisfaction among those who expected more definitive answers and more aggressive action. This dissatisfaction was notably fueled by statements from key figures within Trump's own law enforcement apparatus. In May 2025, FBI Director Kash Patel and his deputy Dan Bongino publicly addressed and dismissed several prominent conspiracy theories. They unequivocally stated that Jeffrey Epstein's death was a suicide, with Patel asserting, "You know a suicide when you see one," and that's what that was. Bongino, who himself had previously hinted at government cover-ups as a podcast host, concurred, stating he had seen the entire file and concluded Epstein killed himself. This was a stark contradiction to the theories widely circulated and believed by many supporters. Similarly, regarding the attempted assassination of Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania prior to his second term, both Patel and Bongino, after being briefed, declared there was no explosive government conspiracy. Bongino commented with a sense of disillusionment, "In some of these cases, the 'there you're looking for' is not there." These official dismissals, coming from figures expected to champion the fight against the deep state, have left many supporters feeling bewildered and demanding to see the evidence for themselves. The administration's attempt to manage expectations on these fronts seems to have backfired with a segment of its base. The reaction has been swift and critical. Online conservatives and right-wing influencers have voiced their disappointment, some going as far as to label Patel, Bongino, and Attorney General Pam Bondi as completely useless in the supposed war against the deep state. Damani Felder, speaking on Tim Pool's podcast in mid-May 2025, articulated this frustration clearly. "People are tired of not knowing. We actually demand answers and real transparency. The demand is not just for action, but for validation of deeply held beliefs, and the administration's current messaging is failing to provide it for some." In an apparent response to the growing pressure and skepticism, Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino announced in late May 2025 that the FBI would reopen investigations into several prominent unresolved cases. These include the planting of pipe bombs near the Democratic and Republican National Committee headquarters on January 6, 2021, the controversial 2022 leak of the Supreme Court's Dobbs v. Jackson draft opinion, and the discovery of cocaine in the White House in 2023. While this move could be seen as an attempt to appease the base, it was met with cynicism by some online commentators, who dismissed it as a distraction, particularly from the Epstein files. Even as his administration attempts to manage these narratives, Trump himself continues to actively promote various conspiracy theories on his Truth Social platform. In May 2025, he shared content about mysterious deaths allegedly linked to the Clinton family, and images suggesting former President Barack Obama was at the center of nefarious plots, even calling for military tribunals. He also fueled theories about former President Joe Biden's use of an auto pen, implying a lack of agency or even treasonous behavior by aides. This creates a dissonant reality where the president amplifies theories his own officials sometimes try to quell. Experts observe this dynamic with a critical eye. Yotam Ofer, a communications professor at the University at Buffalo, suggests that Trump has meticulously constructed a fictional universe around the concept of the deep state. This universe serves to galvanize support, distract his base from unfavorable news or policy shortcomings, and inoculate him from criticism. By this logic, positive outcomes are attributed to his leadership, while negative developments or failures are blamed on the undermining actions of these shadowy forces. It's a powerful, self-perpetuating narrative tool. Joseph Ushinsky, a political scientist at the University of Miami, points to the inherent difficulty in delivering on promises to expose conspiracies that may not exist in the way they are portrayed. It is one thing to allege a vast, hidden network, it is quite another to produce verifiable evidence that satisfies a base primed for dramatic revelations. The longer the administration goes without providing such proof, the more the deep state dilemma risks becoming a source of internal friction rather than a unifying call to arms, potentially leaving supporters questioning why, if it's easy, the alleged criminals haven't already been found.
Hey, we all want to scale our business. Hey, I have the answer for you today to help you do that. If you're looking to scale from 5, 6, even 7 figures and beyond, book called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. I'm going to give it to you for free. All you have to do is type in growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and you can download the book for absolutely free. I hope the book helps you this year. Take your business to the next level. Again, go grab the book, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. I wish you the best and grow, scale, and win.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear God, it's beautiful.